Hello folks, my name is Sooner, and today I'm just going to show you a few methods of setting up your powered doors within settlements so that they'll have switches on both sides. Lock people out, lock people in, whatever you want to do. Have fun. Now this is just 4 variations of pretty much doing the exact same thing. Now a lot of my settlement builds rely heavily on unlimited wire length and going through walls, as well as carpet glitching. So if you don't know how to do that first, I'm going to explain wires through walls. So for this, all you want to do is find a pylon, conduit, whatever you've got that the wire is attached to, and then highlight the wire while still sort of aiming at the pylon. And hit the triangle, and it'll attach a wire. You'll hear that little bzz that says it's connecting. Go to your target and connect, and it just kind of zips it through the wall like that. Now for length, it's pretty much the exact same thing actually. So for wire length, there is a limit to how far they want to stretch. But if you do the exact same method, say on these lights for example, it will let me put it as far as I want. And you can see the light turned on, so then you know the power's going through. Just like the wire through the wall. Light turned on, power's going through. And the other method that we will be using as well is a carpet glitch, or rug glitch, or mat glitch, or whatever you want to call it really. So pretty much what you do is grab a mat or carpet, anything like that, and you want to move the item close until you see it hop, kind of like that. Find it again. It hops. That means it's more or less sitting on top of the collision area for the mat. And then when you pick up the mat, you can see that it's attached to it like that. And what this does is whatever item is floating like that will let you just clip through, because it is only using the clipping detection of the mat itself, not the item on top. Pretty simple to use. Just bear in mind that every single item has a different, more or less sweet spot where it'll hop up like that. A lot of things that like snap, like walls, floors, roofs, anything that snaps like that, you can't really just rug glitch that way. You have to get it near or on it and then hold X to pick up, or A on Xbox. And then I'm not sure what it is on PC. Yeah, pretty much you have to hold X to pick it up. It doesn't work the same or nearly as well. As you can see, it's already telling me no. It does work, just not as good. So now I'm going to show you these 4 types of doors that I have set up here, which are pretty easy to do and pretty much act as 3-way switches. This one here uses a switched power pylon, but it's phased into the doorway itself, so you can access it on both sides. This one here is just your typical blue wall switch. Works the same way. It's just plopped right in the middle so you can access it on both sides. This method uses pressure plates here. So when you step on a plate, door gets powered, opens up. That's the only problem with the pressure plates. If you go too quick, they get stuck open. And this is my preferred method here, delayed off switch. Just because it closes on its own after a very short delay. By default, it's a really short delay, almost instantaneous. But if you set up like a terminal to it, you can change it to be longer. So you could say make your door stay open for 5 seconds, something like that, and then automatically close. But if you do set up a terminal to it, I find you have to temporarily kill the power and then power it up again so that the timer will kick in. And if you want to do that easy, you can just put a switch on the wall there, like a kill switch. So those are the four door types. So what I'm gonna do is go over here and really quickly just show you how to set each one of those up. So the first one is this, the switch pylon. So for that, we are gonna grab our pylon, find its rug glitching sweet spot, and just kind of bring it over. Now, it can be a little finicky because you're putting it in a doorway. What you want to do is kind of get it about there, so it looks about even. And I usually do it right up to the red switch itself, and then put it down. Now with the rug or mat glitch, when you take the mat out, a lot of things will sink or jump. In this instance, the pylon jumped. Now it's getting radiated. Cool. Alright. Hold on. I'm gonna go sweep this off. Yay! Clear skies again. Alright. So back to that. Anyway. So when I took the carpet out, the pylon jumped up slightly. And sometimes they'll sink down. It really depends on the ground and what you're using. A bunch of good things like that. So now all these doors have power to them temporarily, just so they're open, so I can work with them easier. So once you get the pylon in place like that, you want to run a wire from the pylon to the door. And since it's phased into the doorway itself, you have to use the wire glitch. So I'm highlighting the wire, but the doorway is behind me, which means that it's going to want to connect to the door, and then into the pylon. And you can see that the wire there did exactly that. And then you want to get a wire from the power source to the pylon. And now I can remove the temporary power line, and we can test. Open, and close, open. Perfect. So now we know that one works. The next one is going to be the blue wall-mounted switch. Power generator switches. Find it. I find it's easier if you pull it in real nice and close to you. You just want to find a nice little spot in there for you to stick it. Try to get it in about the middle just because it'll be a lot easier on you. And now, power from the door to the switch. And then a wire from the power source to the switch. And you can remove the temporary wire. Now this should work and be accessible on both sides. Now these two are really easy and straightforward. Just one little switch, and you just connect it to the power and to the door. Next we're going to do the pressure plates. So we'll come over here, grab a couple pressure plates, pop them down in your doorways, or wherever you want them. Now this requires some more wires. So you go from pressure plates to the door, and then from your power source to the pressure plates. Both independently. Now that looks ugly just because the power source is on this side and the wire ends up running across the doorway. I'm not a fan of that, so I would probably just clean it up later by putting a pylon over here or conductor, anything like that. But it really is this simple. And as soon as you step on it, power goes through, doors open. And when you get off, power is no longer going through. Repeat on the other side. So that method's nice because you don't actually have to click anything, but like I mentioned earlier, if you go too fast or do it multiple times, it can bug up. It didn't there because it just wants to prove me wrong, but it can. Now, my personal favorite, just because it feels more like appropriate to me, is this method here with a delayed off switch. So you come over, find your delay off switch. Set them up however, wherever you want them. I like putting them on the conduit side of the door. Just keep things a bit neater. Come on, here. And then connect the switches to the door. And then connect the switches to the power source. And you'll see that they jump open temporarily for a second there because they got power. But then the delay kicks in and it shuts back off. So now, it'll open and close on its own. Well, not on its own, but it closes on its own. Opens when you click it, closes on its own. So you can, as I mentioned before, change the time on that, and I'm gonna go to the wrong place for my computer apparently. So if you connect it to that, oh yeah, I gotta give it power. Oops. You connect it to that, you can go into the terminal and then click on delay switch control and then set your delay timer. I like 3 seconds. I find it's a nice window of time. And it should be plenty adequate. And then because we have 2 of them, oops, I got so many things going here, I'm clicking the wrong stuff. Because we got 2, we want to do the setting on both just to be safe. 3 seconds. And put that away. So what I'm going to do now is reset the power supply to my door to update the delayed switches that I changed with the terminal. So then if I click the buttons now, they'll stay open for 3 seconds and then close. Other side, 3 seconds, close. And that's it. So those are 4 real easy methods that you can set up your power doors. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you found that helpful. Maybe you'll now be able to use power doors in your settlements. Thanks for watching.